We didn't discuss prompts, Jesse.
All right. We're here. We're queer. Well, Josh is queer. And his email is jdev1106. Yeah, I know. I'm just kidding. We have no problem with queer people.
Clear.
Happy. Is it Pride Month this month? Or what month is Pride Month?
I don't know, man.
Happy Pride Month. Juneteenth was yesterday, right? No, it was 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Happy Juneteenth also. We're an inclusive people. We love everybody. We don't know all the holidays. We don't know all of the months.
That's June.
Pride Month is June?
Yeah.
Happy Pride Month. Hello.
Dude. All right. We spent the last few weeks thinking about what to say this week.
Spilled fucking beer all over me.
That was one of the things. Spilling your beverage on you. You go to Walmart and buy. You know how they do that? Those product things when you're watching Piers Morgan and then he's into something serious and he talks about some stupid product and you're like, what is this? What's going on here? What's his name? Ben Shapiro does it too, and you're like, listen to his debate, and then all of a sudden he goes into Soul Beer, the best beer you could drink in your life.
Imagine debating with somebody and they do that all the time.
It would throw me off. An effective tool to do. But yeah, I don't know why they do that. Well, I mean, we know why. To make money.
Yeah.
Money's important. You know.
It's important because it's what we need to live currently.
Yeah.
It's not. I wouldn't say we live in a meritocracy where money is. It can be denoted by a merit, but
at times.
At times, but mostly it's a money society. We live in a money society.
I mean, sometimes. What's his name? The guy who boxed Mike Tyson, right? What's his name? Jake Paul. John. Paul?
Oh, Jake Paul.
Jake Paul. You know, I mean, he might have worked hard on his videos, but people gravitated towards him, his age, all that stuff. Sometimes people like Mr. Beast. He's one of the richest YouTubers.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, maybe it's novelty sometimes that maybe it's not merit. It's just
it's the third grader in us that wants us to see the Gulf of America.
Yes, look at all Gulf of America. So,
ladies and gentlemen, we're flying over the Gulf of America.
So 3 things brought us to discussion today. First being Iran and Israel. It's all over the news. You know, Trump says he's going to do something in 2 weeks. We'll see. You know, he said that a lot of times. You know, we're going to do this in 2 weeks. 2 weeks. 2 weeks. A lot of media has specifically called him out on that. I can't remember that one individual who did call him out. I sent you that video. Who was it? Check out this video. I'll give you the title. Let's see, playlist. Iran, Israel.
It was a little baby burp.
I got a whole bunch of videos in this play. Did you check out the Tucker Carlson and Ted Cruz's thing when they were going back and forth about Iran? I only saw sound bites. I have it in the playlist.
Ted Cruz has been getting his ass beat lately in debates.
I thought I put it in there, or did I just send it to you? Let's see. I think I just sent it to you. Sometimes I just blanket send stuff to my brother Jesse. Brother Daya. I need to edit that shit out. Alright, let's see. Okay, very well.
I guess we can just do the YouTube live off of that.
What's that? Oh. When you say live, I'm thinking...
Well, it's not YouTube live because we don't have any followers, but...
That'd be crazy.
This one right here, I got to look at my My notes. I have notes on there. I forgot about that. I'm so stupid.
Don't hurt yourself, Jesse. You're not stupid. You're a very smart man. Where is this 2-week thing I sent you?
You going potty, Aiden? Gotta go pee-pee?
No, I'm fine.
Okay, go sit down.
It's Piskaski. How do you say that name? Calls out.
Psaki is the P silent. Psaki calls out media that fell for Trump's 2-week trick.
Yeah, she goes into a lot of, like he said, in 2 weeks, summarize what she said. Basically, he uses this as a diversionary concept because of the media. It's ADD. Last week, all the news was about L.A., what was happening in L.A. And now everything really is Iran and Israel. You're seeing on the TVs, YouTube feeds. So, partly it's a good strategy to use. In 2 weeks, I'll come up with a plan, and then everybody forgets.
Yeah.
He was also called out by others. I think it was Bloomberg that called him out in his first term.
What do you think about the intellectual schism between him and Tulsi Gabbard that's going on?
The intelligence?
Gabbard? Yeah, where he says that she's wrong
about
Iran.
I've been thinking about let me get this book. If you guys ever want to check it out. It's a book. Let's see the audio book. If you like audiobooks, I recommend Audible. It's nice. Let's see. It's Intelligence. What was the title of this book? Excuse me. So Military Intelligence Blunders. And he goes into depth about, I only got up to chapter 2 to tell you the truth, or is it chapter 3, where it talks about Hitler and Stalin. Stalin chose to ignore intelligence that Nazi military was building up on the Russian border because it wasn't in line with what he thought. It wasn't in line with the party thought. So people stopped briefing him because they're afraid of Stalin. Basically, if you go against what the party says. So I'm looking at this reversal more as getting in line with what the party wants versus what the actual intelligence is saying. And I think, up until recently, the intelligence has been saying that Iran is nowhere close to a nuclear missile, nuclear weapons program. They're at 60% grade. You have to be at 90% grade according to a lot of...
Explain the grade real quick, what that means.
Purity?
Mm-hmm. I know what it means. As our listeners. Let's pretend they don't know anything about this stuff for a second.
Well, I don't know much about it either, brother man. So I'm not a nuclear physicist.
Let's pretend that we don't know either.
All right. Let me go with some AI here. Maybe they can help us out.
So Tulsi Gabbard and Trump have a schism in thought and in
why is 60%?
But the thing is what kind of fucking alarms me about that a little bit is that Tulsi Gabbard sent out a video. They fucking worked really hard on that video. It was actually produced.
It was pretty good.
It was pretty good. Of the Golden Gate Bridge getting nuked and shit like that, and it was a nuclear warning, and how the elites were trying to fucking nuke everybody because they had bunkers and shit. It was really fucking weird.
It was, man,
and remember when you sent it to me? You just haphazardly sent it.
I did.
You didn't even watch the video, the full video. You sent Tulsi Gabbard sent this stuff, and so I went and researched the whole video, and then I was like, dude, and you weren't even talking to me about it. I was like, dude, this bitch is the head of the national security.
I sent it to you because I thought it was funny. I was like, look at this individual. Look at, because I thought it was bizarre. But then when I watched it, because I didn't watch it all the way through, I just saw it and I thought it was funny. And then I watched it once he called attention to it. And at the end, there's elites out there that have bunkers or, It's hard to take. Trump's part of the elite. Like, is she including him into it? Like, what do you mean by elite? Are you talking political leaders? Or are you talking about rich people? Like,
she's talking about the oligarchs that Bernie Sanders talking about. That's what I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I got like a deep dive with the wife yesterday. She goes. Why are we focusing on Mexicans right now and deporting them? Like, why are we blaming them for all the stuff that's going on? And I tried to start explaining. I was like, well, because it's a divisive tactic to keep us divided amongst each other, so we don't know what's really fucking us, because we're getting fucked. We don't know what's fucking us. Every time we come close, and we have been coming close, we keep going like, eat the rich. And then every time we start saying eat the rich, they're like, the Mexicans are taking over.
Yeah. I mean, it's an age-old thing. That's what a lot of administrations have been doing. It stirs up hate. There was a lot of hatred towards illegal immigrants before Trump came, and he just stirred.
Yeah, they just do it every time. Every time there's going to be a depression, it's the fucking Irish people. Every time, something like that.
I mean, like in the early 1900s, it was the Chinese,
and the Italians.
Well, the Italians, yeah. I mean, everybody wanted this, like the Chinatown. Like if you do a little research, it's because of the political onslaught, political attacks that happened on the Chinese immigrants, and they had nothing. They had no other recourse other than to stick to their own,
Right.
And they were able to live in these enclaves to protect themselves.
Well, xenophobia I think it's a natural trait that everybody has, they're born with, and the elite class latch on to our xenophobia, right? And we have more of a proclivity to be peaceful with each other, because you go into society and you don't see people fucking throwing bricks at each other and being like, you N-word, like it doesn't really happen like that. But then they sensationalize the news and turn us against each other and divide and conquer.
I mean, because the rich own the news. I mean, like if you look at Fox, CNN, you do enough research, you find out billionaires they earn it. I mean, like we could do it now. I just don't feel like it.
Yeah, I don't feel like it either. I kept going. I was like, dude, we've been getting so close to blaming the rich. It's not even fucking funny. Like, Elon Musk even said, like that Donald Trump was part of Epstein's list, and Epstein or whatever his name is an elite.
Yeah.
Donald Trump's an elite. Elon Musk's an elite. You know what I mean? Like, they're all fucking, like, pouring their dirty laundry out. We're about to see what's going on, and all of a sudden we're fighting Mexicans.
Yeah.
You know
I mean, then he basically recounted what he said, Elon.
Yeah, of course he recanted, because Elon, even though he's the richest man in the world, he's not the most powerful man in the world.
That's true.
The most powerful man in the world is Donald J. Trump. Yes. Donald Josephat Trump.
Yes, that guy. With Iran, with Israel attacking Iran, I personally think it's flimsy. Especially since the intelligence community.
We saw it coming, though.
Yeah, yeah, we did. Like, they're only stirring the pot. I mean, like, the justification's weak, and then they're like, "Oh, let's turn this into a regime change." I would say that the regime of Iran is not the best in the world. I mean, like, they're not they're basically oppressing the people.
Doesn't it look like we're going into another weapons of mass destruction war, though?
Yeah. It's all like
we might actually
we're copy and pasting what happened in 2003 before they're like, let's go Iran and Iraq and do what we did go to Iran and do what we did in Iraq. I don't know. I think MAGA is split between going to Iran and not going to Iran. Like, that's his base. So Trump likes to plead to his base. He does what his base says, but his base is split. So he's like, I don't know what to do.
His base also thinks that he's the chosen one, and that if Jesus were alive, he'd do the same thing as Trump, or that Trump and Jesus are the same person. Or there's a dogma.
No, you're right.
What's going on here? It's kind of fucking weird, and I'm starting to think that it's starting to bleach the skin through the skin of every Trumpanzee. I'm not saying that as a divisive term. If you worship Donald Trump, you're fucking stupid. This is not directed towards anybody with any type of rational thought. Don't worship Donald Trump.
Yeah, the thing is, people worship interesting things. Like those narcos. Like they have their own like narco religion.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know too much about it, but they have like it's kind of like voodoo. It's like with the skulls and shit like that.
Like
their own death religion, kind of.
Santeria?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
But I mean, let's take it. Let's try to be. Let's weigh the pros and cons here. Israel attacks Iran. Why? Why are they doing that? They say it's Iran has a nuclear program, despite what our intelligence says and has been saying. They abandoned it in 2003. How much? Hold on. How much money does it take to build these nukes? And does Iran have that? And
it's $5 maybe?
Yeah, maybe.
Should I keep going up?
So, according to ChatGPT, guys, because we had the 60% purity is not enough to make a practical nuclear weapon for several technical reasons.
Will it hurt, though, if you use 60%? Will it
It'll probably be a dirty bomb. I mean, I can ask it. Uranium 235 is the isotope. Your natural uranium is only about 0.7% U-35. Blah, 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 blah. Let's see, what else? Proliferation risk is still high. 60% uranium is a major red flag for proliferation concerns because it's beyond civilian use. It is only a technical step away from 90%. So maybe that's where they're going into is like, hey, 60%. Let me ask, what is needed for a nuclear reactor then?
Well, that's kind of sad because Donald Trump's youngest son, Barron Trump, cute little adorable. How old is he? Like 30? Cute little adorable, like 30-year-old man. He wanted yellow cake for his birthday, and they were hoping that they'd get it.
So, looks like you really like for enrichment levels for like those reactors, 20% seems to be, but for weapons grade. So, I mean that there could be a case like 60%. Yeah, that's not weapons grade. And I heard this argument. If you watch Piers Morgan, he brought a whole bunch of people together, and they all were arguing. Like I like the way he does it. Like he brings people that disagree with each other, and they fight it out. And you're like, man, this is cool. Get some popcorn and watch it.
That last one was funny as fuck. The racist girl.
Yeah, the one that I say that word all the time.
He was like, go ahead and say it, and the black guy's like, what?
He said something along.
I will not be victimized.
Yeah,
that show was funny.
It was, but then like, all right. So before we get into that, the 60%, I guess reading that, I guess they do have a leg to stand on with that. Like. Why do you need 60% purity if it's purely for civilian use?
Right.
So that does have to be kind of weighed into it. But is there an actual nuclear program going on? That's the real question. Like,
I think there is. I think we've known about it for a while, though. I mean, it's just kind of weird that we're coming back to it now and then there's nothing.
Yeah. I think the biggest red flag would be if they tested a nuclear weapon. You know what I mean? Like if that's the time to attack before.
But it happens, though, aren't there tests run by other countries?
So the last test that I can remember, well, France did test well in the 90s. I know Pakistan and Iran, or Pakistan and India were doing tests near like the border and whatnot. So yeah, I mean some countries still do tests, but Iran, because of what they believe in, like they want to kill all the Jews on the face of the world. That's what they say. But I think that's more rhetoric than anything,
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna. If I was in Israel, I wouldn't wait for it could be rhetoric and then.
I was gonna say Israel's kind of a small place. It's not really a place to go. They're kind of asking for it.
I could see the 60% kind of being You know, like there's no real justification to having a 60% that I could see, other than just saying it.
But why are we talking about justification, though? So here's what I want to know. And before we jump into this next war based on weapons of mass destruction, we have them.
Yeah.
We manufacture them currently.
Yes, we do.
Why do we police anybody else that does?
That's a good question, and I would probably sum it up to ideology, and plus nuclear.
Because Daddy said no.
Nuclear immunity. You know, that's that. Look at Russia. You know, like having nuclear weapons, being a possession of nuclear weapons, it gives you almost legal license, not legal license, but license to attack anybody you want without really any real repercussions from the outside world, because nobody's really done anything other than send supplies to Ukraine because they have nuclear immunity. If Iran were able to grab, say, 10 nuclear weapons, then they have that the balance of power in that region is tipped towards them significantly. America really can't do anything to contain them because they have nukes.
So we police they're basically subordinate to us. Is what the way that we look at it, the way that we view it. We're not going to let them get ahead. Like that's
I mean,
in a way, that's their own fucking business. You know what I mean? We can't start a war based on what they're doing.
Yeah, I would agree with you there to a point.
No, I'm not saying I want them to do it,
Yeah.
but I'm saying like we're going to war with somebody that's doing something that we're doing.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like that seems kind of fucking
hypocritical.
like it's exactly the definition of it. Yes.
And we're doing the same thing with North Korea, but the thing with North Korea, it tips the power to them, gives them a lot more power. You know what I mean? They like if they go, hey, we're going to use the nukes, then we have to give them more money. Okay, shut up here, have some more money. So it'd be better to, you know, in a sense, to eliminate them before they get that nuke.
What do you think about that current earthquake that happened right by the nuclear facility?
So I mean, like we talked about it before. I really
Iran.
have to look at it. I don't know.
It just happens to be right there, you know what I mean? Like, just like the virus came from Wuhan, like it just happened to be right there.
Well, I mean, Iran has a lot of earthquakes. It's kind of like California.
Right. They have a lot of earthquakes. I get it, but do we have the ability to cause an earthquake?
That'd be pretty cool if we did. I don't know.
It's fringe science, but it's possible, right? We had like a DARPA or a HARP thing.
So, I mean, DARPA and HARP. HARP is a facility up in Alaska close to, I can't remember what city it was, but it's a huge radar radio wave array.
They did the...
And DARPA is the Defense Advanced Research Program Agency.
Which one was the one that did the Large Hadron Collider?
I don't think it was DARPA. I think that was more like actual physicists.
But who? I thought it was.
It's in Texas. They abandoned it because.
I thought it was originally the very first one was run by HARP. I thought.
HARP is.
We're smashing particles together. Yeah, I know that it's not. I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about.
I'm backing up. So, you know, with Iran, I'm kind of split. You know, like in the region, they have several proxies that they fund, and they fire at Americans, fire at Israelis, and they basically make the area more chaotic than it really needs to be. So, but to attack, I don't know. You know, like I don't know what kind of real intelligence that they had, but the intelligence that we have is that they're not pursuing, you know, a nuclear.
Okay.
I think the 60% might be like hey, we got 60%. You know, what's to stop us to get 90 if you don't give us more money? You know, like a bargaining chip. You know, it's versus actually spending money.
Oh, look what we're doing.
Yeah, we need some money. We got 90%. You know,
why would you give somebody money though? It's like, oh, are you guys trying to tell me that you're out of money and you need more money for your nuclear program?
Well, I think they're under embargo, right? I think it's a significant economic strain on them. The only ones really buying from them are the Chinese and Russians and maybe the Indians. I don't know who's buying from India.
Well, now that we got fucking tariffs on everybody, I think that the fucking market is kind of closed off to what we know now.
Yeah.
Right?
Who is importing from Iran? Iran. All right, let's see.
We're obviously a professional news station.
So yeah, China is the dominant buyer. They buy 80 to 90% of the crude oil exports. Syria and Venezuela.
There's another thing too that could be slingshotting us into
South
this.
Korea.
Another thing that could be slingshotting us into this WMD war is the fact that we reached peak oil in 1976. So now we already got what we needed from Iraq. Now we need the reserves in Iran, probably.
I don't know with Iraq if we really. I mean, like build it. I think we just demolished that country because you'd have to significantly rebuild it. Let me see. Iraq oil exports. All right, so let's see. So about 3.2 billion or million barrels a day, a decrease from March, which was 3.42. So I don't know.
It sounds like there's a decrease.
Yeah, I mean, OPEC. I don't know if they're part of OPEC, but they kind of try to drive the supply and demand of oil to like increase the prices of oil. But I don't know. We'd have to get into peak oil, really. Like,
yeah, it'll have to be a separate episode. But I think these wars, every war that's happening right now that's about to slingshot us into World War III is a resource war. I think that's what's happening.
Yeah,
it's resources based on food insecurity and peak oil, or possible peak oil.
It's possible. I mean, also that 60% purity is a good, Israel's survival. I mean, they're already super. What's the word I'm looking for? Insecure, paranoid. They kind of have to be. I mean, there was a few wars. I can't remember which war it was where they were surrounded and invaded. And for the reason, after that war, they have this the other person rule. Like somebody in the room, they need somebody in the room to disagree. Not everybody can agree because all the generals at the time, I can't remember what. I'll have to look it up. All the generals at the time were telling, Israel's political leaders that they're not going to attack. They're not going to attack, and then they're attacked. So they have that other person rule, and that other person rule is talked about in the Z Wars. And you remember with Brad Pitt, he talked about it.
Oh yeah. Hey, they had Israel there too.
Mm-hmm. So I haven't watched that movie in forever. It's a good movie. I mean, like, looking at what's going on with Israel and Iran, like, we'd have to have, like, for me, losing the amount of people that they lost, Israel, how many people they lost due to Iran's rockets? Was it worth it? Like them attacking them. That's the question that Netanyahu should be asking himself. Is it worth a certain amount of his citizens?
Who attacked who first?
They attacked first. You know what I mean? Like,
Israel attacked first?
Israel attacked first. I mean, like, you could argue that Iran attacked first through their proxies, but,
they just consider him Hamas, and they were like, I'm throwing shit at you now, bitch.
Well, it's more Hezbollah, because that's one of Iran's proxies, and Yemen has a whole bunch of Iranian proxies. So you could argue that we've been fighting Iran for the last 20 years in Syria and even in Iraq. You know what I mean? Like, these individuals have been funded by Iran. So that's why I'm kind of conflicted. Like, for the last how many years has Iran been funding all these proxies to kill people? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And taking a stand against it, but at the same time,
Well,
I think he has to look in the mirror and be like, the amount of citizens that he's got
We can look in the mirror too, though. I mean, think about the Iraq War, the Iraq-Afghanistan War. Afghanistan makes sense. Iraq, not so much. The prerequisite for that war was not because of 9/11, right? 9/11 had nothing to do.
Weapons and mass destruction.
Weapons and mass destruction. There was a transition, a strange-ass transition that somehow equated it to 9/11. We went in from weapons of mass destruction, and we came out with no weapons of mass destruction.
Yeah.
It was a big whoopsie war.
Yeah. Yeah, that's unfortunate, man. It's very unfortunate that nothing came up. I mean, nobody really argues for, back in the day, everybody was like, Iraq is needed. And like people that argued against them, so you believe Saddam Hussein's a good person? Like the non-sequitur words, we shouldn't go to Iraq because of this and this. We need more evidence. So you believe Saddam Hussein is a good person? Well, kind of like what they do with Iran.
With Israel. Like if you disagree with Israel, you're a fucking anti-Semite. Yeah.
Yeah. What are you saying? And
it's like, I don't think that Ghazian children or Palestinian children should die. Oh, so you fucking hate Jews?
Yeah.
I see. And you're like, yeah, okay. Well, let's resurrect the only person that's not afraid to hate Jews.
Yeah.
Sieg Heil.
The Piers Morgan did a thing with that. I think he's an Egyptian comedian. And he talks about murdering his wife because she's Palestinian and all that kind of stuff. There's got to be a line drawn. A lot of the news when that happened were dehumanizing the Ghazians. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, they're taught to hate. They're taught to do this. So, like, even I got caught up. Yeah, these people are taught to hate. And I had to, really, like, after listening to that.
They're regular.
I was like, there's people just like us. They might be indoctrinated to hate, but I'd have to say, like, people in America are indoctrinated to be anti-evolution or anti-medicine or anti-vaccine.
Anti-Islam.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, so...
I'd say that's our biggest natural enemy for America. If America had a natural enemy, it'd be Islam, like all of Islam.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, it's weird because... Now we have Christian nationalism. Like, it's a real thing now.
Yeah, well, it's been there. Chris Hedges has done a few things. Like he touched on it in a few of his books.
Now, I'm not saying that I agree with that ideology. I don't have a natural enemy. I was when I was 16 and we got bombed or our World Trade Centers went down and stuff, and we had all that big fear campaign go through. I was insanely scared of the Middle East. You know what I mean? Like, thinking that they were anybody that had a fucking turban on at the airport was gonna bomb the airplane. I really thought that because the propaganda was fucking strong.
Well, I mean, I remember when they first attacked. I remember having an argument with Mom. And she's like, basically her position was she hated all of them. You know what I mean? Like, and I was like, look, those are a certain amount. Not all of them are like that. You can't just hate all of them because of this. And it's, no, I just hate all of them. There was no like rationalizing with that. And I think emotions, you can't rationalize with emotions. And sometimes, I think with Israel, I think it's out of fear. You know what I mean? They can't rationalize.
The dog out of the bathroom. Hold on.
Okay.
You go ahead.
So, I think part of the calculus for attacking Iran, or Iran from Israel's fear, you know what I mean? Like this paranoia that they're going to get destroyed.
I agree. All right, let me put this dog away. Are you taking a dump, dude?
No.
Oh, you can have that. That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Come on, Penny. Come on.
I just slammed my fucking finger in the door. I
hate when that happens. I don't know, man. Watching that thing that episode of Piers Morgan, he brought all those individuals. It's just trust. He asked that question a few times in the episode. Nobody really answered that question. It's like, if I'm putting I can't say his name.
Netanyahu?
Netanyahu's position, do I trust Iran to not be making nuclear weapons? And the answer is no. I don't trust that. You know,
As an American, I don't trust that. But they, I hate to say it, have the right to. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, as a sovereign nation, you should have the right to do whatever you want in with your rounds. And I agree with you to a point, but we know what Iran's going to do with those nukes, and it creates this huge. The thing is, I agree with you, but also countries act within their own interests. You know what I mean? Like Iran having a nuclear weapon is against American and Israel interests.
Everybody, even allies, are potential enemies, right?
No, they are. I mean, Sun Tzu's talked about that.
Sun Tzu. We don't want anybody to have what we don't want them to have. We don't even want Great Britain to have nukes. You know what I mean?
We don't have nukes,
but we don't want them to. You know what I mean? We don't want that. We want to be the only ones. It's a tactical thing. Like, why would you want? Yeah, we'll be allies with Britain. We speak the same language as Britain, but we're across the pond. We don't give a fuck about them really that much. You know what I mean?
Yeah, not too much. I mean, on a daily basis, where do your thoughts of Britain come from?
Fish and chips.
Oh yeah, fish and chips. You know,
that's it.
Our little accent.
They're over there mining fish and chips. And fucking the next Beatles album.
So like with L.A., what do you think about L.A.? And actually, there's other riots. There's some riots in San Antonio, Dallas, and other places in America, or riots or protests, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah,
whatever political leaning.
I put out a protest song because I'm a father of 5 kids, and one of my kids is an infant, so I can't be out there protesting. Getting shot by rubber bullets and shit.
Yeah.
I think it's wrong. I don't think the people that are protesting are wrong. I think it's wrong. It's wrong, and here's why. I mean, there's proof that it's wrong. They've ignored due process. They've taken the Constitution and thrown it away. Habeas corpus has been fucking ignored. Supreme Court rulings have been ignored. Children have probably. I think there were cases where children have died because of it. There was a really touching segment where Alexandria Ocasio, AOC, was crying because of something that happened and subsequently led to a child dying because the mother needed him. There is a 4-year-old that recently got deported, or is in the process of being deported, and needs American medicine and will not survive without American medicine. Came here legally with her parents. They have work visas and everything, and Trump decided to revoke them. He keeps saying that he's only after the rapists and the criminals, but he doesn't like brown people. He just doesn't fucking like them.
So that's one thing that I've noticed is the usage of monster lately. We gotta get these monsters out of our country. That's
that 4-year-old with that fucking random disease. I can't remember what it was.
When you use these words, dehumanizing words, it's easy for you to do these things to that segment of the population. The ICE leader, I can't remember who, I'll have to look for it, but he was joking around. Certainly he knows that they're good people, and then he goes to the press conference, and the guy's bald. I can't remember his name, I'll have to look him up. He's like, yeah, these people, these monsters, we gotta get these monsters out. And then everybody's laughing because, but these individuals are normal human beings. They're
normal human beings that took refuge.
Yeah, I beg to differ in this. Here it is. There's more American criminals than there are immigrant criminals. Are we gonna start deporting them? Let's get all these prisons out. We get prisoners. Is that like the natural step? These guys are monsters. We start using that word. But here's the thing. The other thing is how much money. Trump did this whole Doge. I think part of it was good. Part of it wasn't.
And how much money we're losing in taxes because the taxes. It's fucked up. But people that come over across the border. They pay taxes.
They do.
And they don't get them back. because they're borrowing Social Security numbers, or they have made up. They have the system where they're using a Social Security number, and they're not getting back taxes or anything like that. They're not getting their refunds. They're just paying taxes, and that's it. Mm-hmm. And so I think it was it was $1 billion a year or something like that. Was going into.
I think because I sent you an email.
We are losing our actual.
It's going to be a net.
We're going to have a net deficit now.
Because, I mean, how much money does it really take to take care of these individuals? Yeah, you have to take care of them, their food, their
right, but they're taking care of themselves
and medical. No, we
when
they're in the
to put them in detainment.
Yeah, and then how long is it going to take to get them out? Forward them to the location. Dude, I don't know. That's too many
it's definitely a fucking racist roundup.
I mean, it can be argued.
It's the same thing that fucking Hitler did with the Jews. Let's be honest. Let's take the fucking elephant out of the room.
The difference between the Jews in Germany is the Jews there were legal.
Well, there's not really a difference, because how many legal people have been caught up in this process, and that's why due process is important.
It is. Due process is important. I'm just saying it's different. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. In definition, they're breaking the law, so they are criminals. But at the same time, to execute and arrest everybody in America that's illegal, that would cost
or
a
that
lot.
You that you
it costs too much,
or that you think is illegal.
Yeah,
because that's what happened.
Yeah.
Like they found some brown people. They said you're fucking illegal. Found out they deported people that were fucking homegrown. And he even said that next we're going for the homegrowns when he went to that Salvadorian prison to see if they had any more room.
Contract.
Yeah, they're contracting prisons right now. That's what's going on. And he's getting money. They're being lobbied by fucking the axis of evil, dude.
The thing is, Trump, he's allowed to, activate.
Yeah, he's allowed to have sex with children.
Whoa! He's allowed to activate the troops, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, like as a leader, you have different tools. Like Woody did that when he activated the troops. What happened?
Having sex with children. Yeah.
Jesus.
That was dumb.
When he activated the troops,
he was on Epstein's list.
In L.A., it created an uproar. It created more. It wasn't like putting water on the flame. It was like putting gas.
Yeah, he didn't issue any type of peacemaking. He wasn't like, hey, I hear you guys, blah 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 blah. I think we talked about this in the last podcast. But
yeah, he's a great divider versus a great unifier. I think.
Yeah,
he really divides wedges.
I had to say, if I was a Christian, and I'm not, obviously, but if I was. And the obvious thing, the reason why it's obvious, you guys, is because I worship the devil. I'm just kidding.
Oh, shit.
I sacrificed 10 goats just now. No, I don't worship the devil. But I'm a staunch atheist. If I was a Christian person, I would refer to the book of Revelations. There's a false prophet that comes.
Yeah.
He's spews all these fucking lies. Everything about Trump is the Antichrist. Like I said, I'm not Christian, but if I was all the Christians love this dude.
Yeah, Book of Revelations is kind of like a fever dream. It's like
It's also the wrong book. It's the original book that was accepted for even longer than the Book of Revelations was the Apocalypse of Peter.
Oh.
So they just changed it because they didn't want people to think there's revolutions that happen within the Christian church that
you have different we're diverging.
That's a different one.
But like always interests me because I'm an atheist too, but we grew up being taught Christianity because you got the beast, right? Antichrist and the devil. They're all different entities. I always
there's even two beasts. There's an Antichrist and there's a beast.
The beast. That's what I'm talking about. And then the devil. They're all different entities. It's like this evil trinity. Always like, what is this? And you have the 7 horns, all that kind of shit.
And then the 7 heads and 1 is dead to denote the 6, and mocking the 7 days of completion and all that. Yeah.
So I mean, it's like a fever dream.
It is.
I had the chance to do, read the book the Book of Revelations in college. You know, like for it was like New Testament. That was the class.
12 tribes of Israel. I thought about this the other day. I thought about it, and it fucked me up a little bit. Check this out. 12 tribes of Israel, 12,000 people from each tribe. That's 144,000, right?
Yeah.
And so when Jesus comes back during the Book of Revelations, right, half the world is scorched, right? Fucking immediately, the 12 tribes of Israel. I think this is right. I have to like go back and look at it, but they all ascend immediately, right? So let's for a second, just if we can like go into some Christian lore here and apply it to modern times. 1945, right? Okinawa, Japan, not Okinawa, Japan. Sorry, mainland
Hiroshima,
Japan. Hiroshima.
Nagasaki.
144,000 people in all in Japan. Japanese people.
Yeah.
Died instantly in the combined blasts. What if? what if we're just still living in the fucking Book of Revelations and we're just watching everything slowly come through? A lot of
clerics argued that we're already in the trials and tribulations, you know, 1,000 year or whatever. But let's go back to
and then after 1,000 years,
ice.
Jesus comes back and then throws the devil in the cage, and that's it. You know, he's dead forever. Back to ice.
Back to ice.
We're not Christian.
So I mean, like, all right. So Trump, he has the right to activate Title 10 to protect federal land, federal agents, whatever. But like, what my question to that is, what was going on? Were these protests destroying? Were these agents in danger?
No, they were peacefully protesting. They were coordinated protests.
Because I think there was records of rocks being thrown at the agents and stuff like that. Let me see. All right, so let's ask.
I mean, they can claim whatever they want to claim, but they sent the National Guard, and I'll be right back. I gotta take a pee. You go ahead and do your own song and dance till I get back.
Yeah, okay.
Selfish piece of shit.
Oh shit.
Hey, Penny.
So there was both peaceful and violent clashes with law enforcement before he activated it. So there's a thing with like protesters is there's a small minority that will get violent. You know what I mean? Like those protests that were going on with what is it called? Remember 2020? Those protests. So there was like there were peaceful protests, but there were also rioters.
Were they the BLM protests? Is that
that's the one. So this happens, you know what I mean? And people fail to distinguish the two. That there's going to be people that are in the peaceful cause, and then there's going to be those that take advantage of a situation, chaos.
Yeah.
So
and then there's going to be the people that drop their 17-year-old children off. An hour and a half away from home to shoot other people.
With an AK, I can't remember what gun he had. It was an AR, right?
AR, yeah.
So that's the dumbest thing. All right, let's talk about that. What's unraveled?
Would you fucking do that?
Oh, Joshua, let's go to this
Was it
grocery store so
Wisconsin?
you can stay up top and offer medical. No, I would never. Put
Yeah,
myself
they don't
in that.
have fucking insurance on their fucking businesses to cover some shit like that. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not sending my 17-year-old to shoot some shit, and that just gave
Well, he wasn't
so
there to
many
shoot things. He was there to provide medical assistance to people, and he was until shit happened.
Dude, he was loaded. He had
was.
fucking guns all over.
But the thing is, within that crowd, there were like the people that he shot. They all had criminal records. I think one of them was a. I know, like
that's
so
fine. They
I'll
had
say, like,
criminal
well,
records.
what I was saying is, there was two things going on during that time. There were people that were rioting, and then there were people that were peacefully protesting.
Right.
And people
right.
fail to distinguish the two.
No,
I mean, like we tend to like group people up. I mean, like that's what like.
Right. That's what we got to realize, and we got to understand the crowd control. There should be some type of book written about crowd control and the people that are supposed to be able to execute crowd control in a peaceful way. Peace officers.
I mean, like during the civil rights era, they were able to keep their protests nonviolent because once they turn, I'm talking about the protesters.
Kent State.
I don't know that one, so go ahead.
Oh, the protesters. So
I'm talking about the protesters.
The protesters were not violent.
Yeah,
but they were shot and killed
by
the law enforcement in Kent State. Yeah.
What's going
That's a
on
big
now?
thing.
What's going on now is people are peaceful protesting, and also a certain percentage are also violently protesting. Which
then what you do is you anesthetize those people. You don't fucking start throwing bombs and flashbangs at everybody else.
well, you're right. It gives Trump the opportunity to
Right, he talks shit in a general way like he does. He's a fucking idiot. That dude drives me crazy, man.
But it gives him an opportunity to activate the National Guard in accordance to Title 10. It gives them legal precedence because they were throwing rocks and shit at agents, is what I'm trying to say.
No, it doesn't give him legal precedence because he didn't coordinate with the governor.
Well, he really doesn't have to have the governor's say-so if he activates them under Title 10 because he federalized them.
But why would he do that? Why would he jump to that without coordinating with it? Why would he not ask him if law enforcement was handling it or not?
This is all political theater, I think. To me, this is more about left versus right. You know what I mean? Like Newsom versus
that's what he
President
still
Trump.
does. That's what drives me fucking crazy. He drives that division factor every day. Oh yeah, the other side would definitely not be doing this. The Biden supporters, that's definitely a Democrat over there. Like he's still got that in his fucking mouth, dude. I don't understand.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he
You
still
are
blames
president now,
Biden
Donald
for
Trump.
everything. Biden did that.
Yes.
What's the protests are going on over here?
My wife last night. My wife was not satisfactorily fucked, and I'm gonna have to blame the Biden administration. I only lasted 2 seconds, you see, and then
I'm just playing devil's advocate here.
No, I
think
got
this
it.
is where the neutered ground.
I played.
He had, like in the way the law is written, he had legal authority. But like once you are federalized, say maybe you are troops, we can't do anything. We can defend ourselves and others and the building, but we can't arrest. We can't do anything. So it's really like a symbolic gesture.
They're not there for anything. They really can't do anything.
Yeah. Now, Article 30. Well, excuse me. Was it Article 32 or is it? Anyway, Title 32. That's the title. Title 32. If the governor was involved, they can do a lot. They can arrest. They can, I mean, they got a lot more power under Title 32 than they do under Title 10. And Texas has already activated their National Guard under Title 32. But the thing is, when you activate them under Title 32, the state's paying. So there's like different finances. But I would say, they were throwing rocks. What else could the police do to protect themselves?
I don't know about the rock throwing thing. I don't know. What about the Kansas thing where the cops were? Is it Kansas? Omaha, Nebraska, maybe.
I'm not tracking.
The police took a knee in solidarity with the protesters. Basically, we're with them. Yeah, it's kind of cool in a way.
Yeah.
It was big news, and then everybody's talking shit. Trump talked shit about him.
So, thinking about it, what are the costs? Okay, of doing what we're doing in LA and all these other like sanctuary states or cities.
Or sovereignty, or
Yeah,
freedom.
freedoms. Well, it costs a lot of money to detain because they were trying to get up to 3,000 people arrested a day. That's their goal. They're like arresting like 300.
Is that a quota?
Yeah, they have a quota. I sent you the news article, my brother.
I probably read it.
Yeah, that's their goal. And they're actually, what they're doing is they're putting more and more people on to like this ICE, immigration thing. Yeah, less and less so on like the anti-terrorists. Like they're putting more people teams on immigration that we're leaving holes for, possible terrorists. It's like a never-ending circle. So if a terrorist attacks, you see the immigrants.
You think
it's like a never-ending like.
You think before
dragon
this
eating its
before
tail.
this World War starts, because it seems like it's an inevitable thing. You think Trump's gonna stop what he's doing here as a sunken loss type of thing, and then try to unite the nation before we go into?
No, I
World
think
War?
Trump will go in a bunker, and we won't hear much from Trump again. If like the nukes fly out, he'd be.
Oh, you think nukes are gonna happen?
Well, I was saying you said World War III. That's what will happen.
We've already initiated, though, haven't we?
Well, I mean, Iran is not really the superpower.
Right, but we've already initiated. We're like,
we're not like so. The ones
we're not gonna name the war right now, but we're.
All right, so let's look at it. All right, so we got Russia versus Ukraine right now. We did have India versus Pakistan.
China and Taiwan and what was it?
Yeah, China, Taiwan, if that happens, and then you got Israel and Iran. And you probably got other wars that are going on right now. And we're stationed in
Yeah, there was the one in Syria.
Syria.
Too, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
well, I mean, yeah. So I don't think it's World War II yet. I think it's pretty much contained. I think if World War III, excuse me. I think if China invades Taiwan, that'd be when World War.
What's
III
the other
starts.
one? Taiwan and there's another Chinese-like territory they speak. around the same-
Oh, you're talking about the Spratly Islands. That's from Philippines, and there's other like islands.
There was
like
another threat from the Chinese.
Well, in northern India, there's this land that's the Chinese say is theirs, and India says is theirs too. So there's every
it
now and
Hong
then
Kong?
they don't actually fight wars; they fist fight. So like every now and then the troops like beat the shit out of each other, and some of them die. So they were technically at war, but not really. It'd be crazy. Just we're going to this river, and like it's huge ass mountains, right? So it's like nobody else is there. Like really, like why are we fight? Why are they fighting for it? I don't know. It really.
I don't know. I don't know why we're fighting at all anyway.
So on the news recently, maybe a couple weeks back, you have the Chinese immigrants that were arrested for the fungus. I can't remember what the fungus name is. I'll have to look it up. But that same type of fungus,
They're trying to.
yeah, the same type of fungus
Contaminate
was
the
found
food.
in West Texas. And dude, I saw pictures of it. It looked like the stuff that we saw on the cactuses in our land. Head blight. Let me show you.
That makes sense because that's West Texas.
Yeah. Let me see. Where is it at? What is it called? Let me get you the exact name of this fungus.
I can't look it up. You'll have to show me on your. I'm recording us on my phone right now.
So Jesse will say the name. Oh yeah, I really can't pronounce things. That's why Jesse is the pronouncer.
Texas, USA. Texas officials issued warning Wednesday about an invasive crop fungus affecting wheat, barley, and oat crops used to make bread, cereal, and more, citing national concerns. Fungus known as head blight or scab is a disease of barley, oat, wheat, and other small grains used to make bread, cereal, and livestock feed. That caused by the fungus Fusarium graminearum.
Yeah, I couldn't say that.
Graminearum penicillium according to Texas A&M.
Yeah. So
experts.
Fusarium graminearum. I can't really say it, but that's the same fungus that was found on those Chinese immigrants. You know, I saw that there was an argument between. So they didn't have the proper permits. This is so they're trying to one side saying that they didn't have the proper permits. It's not agro-terrorism. This is and the other side saying it's agro-terrorism. But it's funny that we're having an issue in West Texas with this virus
fungus.
But it could be completely natural, or it could be there's something else going on. You know what I mean? When I first read that article, I remember it popped up and I sent it to you. I was like, Jesse, let's check this out.
Do you think it was a domestication of the fungus?
I don't know what they were doing with it. You know what I mean? We don't have the samples, and we don't know if they genetically manipulated it or why were they smuggling it in the country or out of the country? I don't know. The question, that's the question. What were they doing? Were they smuggling it out and bringing it to China?
What the fuck are y'all doing with fungus on you?
So say if they were bringing it out to China, right? What were they going to do over there? Were they going to, make their own genetically and then bring it back to America, or were they already bringing it from China to America? That's the question.
It'd be funny. They saw The Last of Us and they're trying to actualize it.
Keep our population under control. This Prime guy's been there for a while.
Yeah, I wonder what he's doing.
Could be the FBI, Jesse. ICE! It could be ICE.
Better not be fucking ICE.
Could you imagine Amazon Prime and then a whole bunch of fucking
ICE agents
coming out in the back?
My son is Mexican. You keep passing over this.
Oh, my bad.
I can hear it. I don't know what's going on. I gotta pee again though.
It's probably the alcohol.
Yes.
So I mean, what's going on in LA? I think it comes to money. Really, how much money do you want to spend on arresting 3,000 people a day? And everybody look at it. How many illegal immigrants are in America? Let's see. Number of illegal immigrants. So 11 million. Let's see. You divide 11 million by 3,000. How many days is that?
Hold up, bud.
Divided by 3,000. So we're talking about 3,666 days. Divide that by 365. We're talking about 10 years.
Wash your hands.
But even arresting 3,000 people a day, it'll take 10 years to arrest all the illegal immigrants in this country. So the question is on price and cost. To arrest those individuals, you're going to have to feed them, give them water, give them medical treatment. That costs money, and you have to pay the arresting officers. Also, the other cost is us focusing on arresting illegal immigrants versus preventing terrorism. I think it'll be cheaper in the long, cheaper
with it?
and better for
Hey,
the
good job
country
taking a
if we
poop,
just strengthen our border security. We have drones. And we looked at Ukraine, how they're using drones in innovative ways. We can do the same thing with drones here in America with our border. You don't necessarily need human beings monitoring the border to ensure that nobody passes through. So I think the cheaper solution is preventing
soap, okay?
illegal immigrants coming in. I think the illegal immigrants here now, maybe there should be a way we can have a effective and fast work permit. So that way, if they get these work permits, maybe they can be not taken advantage of as much as they are now, because as an illegal immigrant, you really don't have as much, you're under the radar. And people take advantage of that all the time. So
yeah, they don't have a lot of rights. I know Canada has. I don't know why I know Canada. I know why I know Canada's policies more than ours. But they have an emergency work visa when somebody first moves into the country for refuge. They put them on like an emergency work visa, let them live there, accommodate them in some ways that they can.
Yeah.
I helped a Venezuelan family go up there. That's the only reason why I know about that. And I had some Canadian connections. But
that's pretty cool.
yeah, they're doing good, and they're actually enjoying the decision that they made now. At first, they hated it because coming from Venezuela to fucking Canada, imagine that shit. Imagine the Venezuelan summers and winters, and then you fucking move to Texas, and it's a little bit more brutal, you know what I mean? Like that. And you're like, I don't like it here. And I'm like, yeah, dude, my friend from Canada says this is the way that you get into Canada. He goes to Canada, he's fucking dying up there, right? And then this year, he sees what's going on with ICE, and he's like, oh, yeah. I made the right choice.
Yeah. I think there's cheaper and more effective ways, like Jesse was saying, emergency work visas. Make them illegal. All right, so there you go. Like, and maybe make this more of a volunteer thing. But at the end of the day,
let's have a little more compassion too, because you think about it, like most brown skins that are crossing the border, and I'm not saying that as a racist thing. If their skin is a different tone and it is a browner tone, they're most likely Native American. And that means they're from here originally. And we are not.
Yeah.
We're part Native American too. I'm just saying that they are a little bit more than we are. They're probably Aztec. You know what I mean? They're probably Mayan. They're probably straight up. I mean, Hondurans are Mayan, right?
I don't know. I think you might be right. I mean, they were part of the peninsula.
But they are Native American. They're from this motherfucking area way before we even thought about being here.
Yeah. But what I was arguing for is like, I think the better tactic would be to strengthen border security. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot more innovative acts that we could do to strengthen the border, keeping people out.
If I was never seen most of the border agents, I met a lot of border agents. A lot of them are Mexican, dude.
Really?
Isn't that crazy?
Well, I mean, that
That's
makes
fucking
sense.
weird.
That's where, like, if they're employing people from the area, you know what I mean? Like in, was it the Valley, southern tip of Texas.
Yeah.
That's primary, Hispanic.
Well, and they're like, it sounds like a lost cause whenever you're talking to one of them, because they'll, like, turn somebody away. And then, like, 2 weeks later, they'll see him at the mall. You know what I mean? Eating food, and they're like, what the fuck? What the hell, man?
Yeah, because there's a lot of holes in our border. It's a huge border. And I was saying, like, I was arguing for the fact, like, if you look at Ukraine, they're using drones innovatively. Like that huge attack on the Russians' bombers. We could definitely use drones creative. I think we are, but we're using the big drones. You know what I mean? Like, we could use more drones to secure our borders. I think it's important that we
have the
secure
technology
our
for
border.
it. We have the technology to cause an earthquake in Iran, for crying out loud.
Well, I don't know about that.
No, we did it. We did. It was us. We can control the fucking acts of God. God damn it. We have been going for longer than an hour. If you want to.
Okay. Thanks for for listening to me and my brother.
Thank you. Sorry that we didn't have quite the direction. We're getting off our feet right now.
Yes, we did a lot of research, but we didn't write it down.
That was our mistake. It's very unprofessional this time. It'll be more professional next time.
We'll write a little more.
More on Bigfoot's dick.
Yeah, we're going to have to specifically focus on that,
Also the protests in LA, the Dodgers. We'll talk about that next time, and we'll talk about why we think it's justified, or why I think the protests are justified. Always protests are justified. You can protest anything you want.
We've got the right to free speech. I mean, like, let me look.
Everybody looks at it so negatively. Like,
let me look at rights of, right of free speech.
On our way out, let me end with this monologue. Protests are okay, America. Let's stop getting mad at everybody for doing it. It's not illegal. It is something we're supposed to do.
All right.
Okay, not everything's gonna be good all the time in America. Matter of fact, things are bad. You have to work like 6 jobs. I tried to get into fucking Uber or any of the fucking gig apps right lately. There's a wait list. I was wondering how people were making it now. I don't wonder, because there's a wait list for all the gig apps.
Let me read this for you.
Gig apps.
First Amendment. Congress shall make no law respecting a establishment of religion or prohibiting the freedom exercise thereof, abridging the freedom of speech or the press or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. So notice it says people and not citizens.
What happened? Did you bite your tongue? Come here.
And there's no addendum in the Constitution that says, let's put an asterisk by people.
I can't kiss
we
your
mean
tongue.
citizens.
I'll kiss your face.
A person is all people, right? Would you agree with me there, Jesse?
Yes, of course. A person is all people.
Yeah.
And you have to see it as that, or otherwise you will just start blindly deporting people.
Yeah.
And it'll be American citizens. Like, it's happened.
Yeah, it's already happening right now. That's why we got dual process.
That's why due process is a thing.
When people say, like I was watching this, I can't remember the chick's name, but she was saying,
Ann Coulter.
Whoever, like,
I'm just kidding.
it's one of Dad's YouTubers,
yeah.
or not YouTubers, one of his podcasters that he watches on Roomba, and she's like, illegals don't have constitutional rights. And then I had to look, like, right then and there, I was like, really? Well, let me see. And then, like, it just said persons, people. I'm like, I don't know. This kind of disagrees with you. Like, I don't know where you get off saying that. And a lot of people do. Like, illegal immigrants don't have constitutional rights.
If you murder an illegal immigrant, I'm not saying that anybody should, but what kind of...
You're still murdering a person.
Well, yeah, I know, like, technically you're murdering a person, but in the United States of America, do you serve time for that?
Yeah, I think you do, man. Like, I'm pretty sure Border Patrol who murder people, like they probably serve time, dude.
No shit.
All right. If watch me get flagged. If you murder
a baby,
illegal immigrant.
Dude, I just realized while you're looking that up, I went pee twice with the cordless mic for the YouTube video that we're doing, and then the second time I wiped Aiden's ass because he needed help.
Oh damn!
He's got special needs. He's a good kid, but he's very smart. He's just got special needs, and I did that on live YouTube.
If you murder an illegal immigrant, will you serve time in jail or prison?
Right there, it says no. Donald Trump will not serve time in jail.
That's funny. The AI won't touch this. What do you want?
Because of the heat that's going on. That's why it's like, wait a second. What does this guy want to know this for?
Hold on a second. Because of course they have.
It's hard to keep posture while you're doing this.
All right. If you murder an illegal, you go to jail. All right. If someone commits murder in the U.S., whether they're undocumented immigrant or not, they face serious criminal case. So yeah.
Well, good. Just so that way you guys know, don't fucking start murdering illegal immigrants or protesters. You can't just drive through a crowd of fucking protesters, you idiots.
I mean, that's already happened. That was happening during the 2020.
No, it happened this time too.
Really?
Yeah, I got footage of it on
That's crazy.
that protest song that I issued.
Oh,
There's footage of it.
I gotta watch that, dude.
Dude drives into a crowd.
All
There's
right.
some real fucking idiots out there. All right, everybody, have a good day.
Yep.
Peace and love, Bob Marley, all that bullshit.
Yeah. Right, my brother.
All right.
Yeah, I think we need to do a little bit more research.
File, save as... Oh, let me stop this guy.